Hey guys, John over at Quadvan. Just staying real busy up here in Portland, building transits and Econolines. This is a little truck we just finished for a customer. He supplied the wheels and tires. They're the Methods with 265/70 17s on it. I think that comes out almost 32 inches. Backwoods bumpers. Those are kind of a composite of steel and aluminum. Pretty lightweight for weight and real strong in application. It's got Bilsteins on it. It's got full skid plates all the way underneath. Watch one of my other videos. I'm going to do an up in the air view of this thing. It's got a hybrid bumper in the rear. You can use it for lots of things, dual boxes, dual tires, all kinds of stuff. It's made out of steel and aluminum. Really strong, pretty neat. It's got clip shocks on our truck, and neat truck. See ya. He ordered some aftermarket wheels and tires for this van so it would look better. I gave him the sizes that we would recommend as the largest they go. And be honest with you guys, I can't tell you to put bigger tires on them. There's a lot of issues with that. You're driving the car around with a tire that throws the speedometer off quite a bit. There's a few people I've been reading on some of the forums working on trying to see if they can reprogram the PCM so that it can read the tire size that you could calculate into it and give a correct speedometer output. But you start going into these larger tires, and this particular tire happens to be 12.5% off. Yeah, you can account for it. You know, at 50 it's 4, and at 60 it's 6, and all that stuff. But when you start adding these larger tires, you start running into a lot of clearance issues. You know, in the back here, there ain't no snow chain it's going to fit. You're going to have to use one of those socks that they sell from Europe that put on there if you need some traction device that is allowed to go on a road in DOT. This is this tire is a 265/70 17, so it's effectively a 31.6, if I remember looking in the book, which is really it's just too much tire. A 30.5 seems to fit the trucks much better. It still gives you a little room in the back. It gives you a little room in the front. Turns fine, articulates fine, doesn't seem to rub or get into anything as long as you do a little bit of the cut back in here. So once you get all this modified like we do, then it clears. This particular truck, normally we don't even get into here. This particular truck, we've had to cut it back that far. The next step of his cutback, and his does rub, is he's going to have to get into this plastic. And as most of you guys know, the door sheet metal is right there, right behind that plastic. So the second he cuts this back, and he cuts this back, now he's into the door. I don't do that stuff. I just can't get into that. So these larger tires, I did this for him, and he's jeopardizing his warranty with me. They're breaking a drive spline, or he can rub into the body. You could get denied a warranty repair because the dealer sees the larger tires on it. There's a lot of issues that you run into with those larger tires. But anyways, that's my input. This particular truck, we built it with our clip shocks, we call it. That's that shortened shock mount. It takes about 2.5 inches out of the hang down from the shock. But since we're putting a block in the top anyways, that distance is the same as it was factory. This happens to have a true track in the front and rear. We built that up. It accepts the sway bar. He added the sway bar to it just because it's going to be a full built-out camper. The skid plates and stuff we add. These are ones that we build for our. We build these for our conversion. They'll mount into a stock cross member, but there is no forward mounting for a two-wheel drive van. I suppose you could build something. I did, but I don't sell them for people with two-wheel drives. And frankly, there's no reason to sell for a two-wheel drive because honestly, with the differential not being in it, there would be no reason to be covering a differential. Van Compass makes a really nice little steel cover. Fits over the front. I haven't done any temperature measurements on his. I had to do temperature measurements on mine. But a big concern about putting anything over the intercooler, over the radiator, and boxing it in is when you put a solid plate under there and you trap it up the side and you trap it back to the cross member, you start keeping a lot of heat underneath the hood of the truck. And Ford doesn't like that. Ford doesn't like any of these bumpers. They won't warranty a heat situation with any of these bumpers on the front. You'll find out that you'll get in, if you come in for an intercooler problem, a sensor problem, improper temperature differential, and you've got a bumper on it, they won't even deal with it. They won't look at it. I've already been down that path. So you have to be working with a dealer that doesn't really care. We put Bilsteins in this truck. There's my auto hub set up and my knuckle and all that. Same thing on the other side. It gives you, the way I designed the knuckle, it has the 2-inch lift built into the knuckle, so I don't have to do a block on the top. I also corrected for Ackerman a bunch of the steering geometry issues that the Transits have from the factory. If you drive your own Transit, throw a couple pieces of cardboard down on the ground, drive over the cardboards with your steering wheel turned full lock, and you'll notice that one of the cardboards will turn pretty drastically. It'll twist when you drive over it. That's just they have a mistake in their design on Ackerman, and they just tend to wear out on Transits. You'll see the tires wear out pretty quick on the outside tires on a stock 2-wheel drive. And it's something they can fix. They just haven't yet, even on the new 2020 I have up on the rack. But transfer case is covered by the skid plate, has a hole for the drain. You can reach the oil filter. This guy put a Flomoto valve in. You can reach it right from the side. He's got his tube coming out right down at the bottom. Super easy. So service on this truck's really, really simple and easy. Skid plates cover everything. I usually offer this gas tank skid plate because the problem with these plastic tanks is once you get up in the air a little bit, the guys will drill the gas tank. They'll slide a bucket underneath your van. You're sitting out on a beach somewhere, or you leave it in the parking lot overnight, and you'll have somebody down there slide a bucket under the van, drill a hole in the gas tank, and then they walk away and you're out of gas and they got your gas and now you're stuck. So I made those so that they're far enough away from the tank and far enough down that it's hard to get a little step drill in there or punch it with a punch. Just makes it a little more resistant to being drilled and dragging them on the ground. Aluminum's not a real good skid plate just because it's so sticky. When you drive over a rock, it really just grabs that aluminum. But it's better than not. And you smack a front differential, like you can see how close they are in there. You smack that front differential, yeah, can you? Right there. You smack that diff and you break that aluminum casing up in the front and you've got a problem. So it's better than not having anything at all, and it seems to work pretty good. We've drug them over, unfortunately, this hoist here getting off with those blocks up there. We've banged into stuff out here in the parking lot on purpose, set up a box of pallets and try to drive over them and crunch them and see if we can break them up, and they work out pretty good. But just wanted to show you a few things, guys. Tire size, everybody wants to go to the biggest tire they can. Just take care. You may or may not be declined on a warranty by putting a larger tire on it. Ford has 2 different things they look at right off the bat, and that's accurate miles and amount of time in service. And any vehicle that's more than about 3%, they consider it TMU, true miles unknown. And you can get kind of into a warranty crisis if you have something that breaks because you got bigger tires on it. And I warn my customers all the time about that. I'll warranty anything that Ford warranties, but as soon as Ford declines something, I'm out too. This particular truck has those Backwoods bumpers, and I'll tell you, they're brand new on the block. There's a few things I'd change. Some stuff looks a little bit too much because I'm used to looking at a Luminess all the time. But man, I'll tell you, there's no shortage of engineering into these things. I'll lower this thing down a little bit and just look at a few things. So this Backwoods bumpers that are on this 2019 Transit are pretty impressive. Everything on here is all aluminum. The mount is aluminum. All the box is aluminum. All the brackets are aluminum. Kind of antiquated system. This looks like something off of a container, just like that container sitting over there. Something off the container, the way the latch works. A little hard to get to from the top. I seem to get to it real good just because I've opened it a bunch of times. But look at the inner structure in this thing. I don't know if you guys ever really even care or pay attention to this stuff. But this thing is, it's pretty tough, guys. All aluminum, all welded up. Now they went to the steel rear bumper so they could carry that steel pin. There's huge structure rebuild in the back of these things. So that's all really built up in there. They have their own bumper mount that goes in here. 3/16 steel, 1/4 inch steel. The regular trailer hitch fits onto it. It's kind of overkill. One of the things that's really got to be paid attention to on transits like the front bumpers is that you push the trucks over GVW very, very quickly. And then you get into a problem where I can't convert them. The big reason this one's easy to convert is because it's completely empty. So when I scaled it, it was right, probably about 250 pounds from being over limit with the passengers and the rating that he's putting in it, with 2 people and 90 pounds worth of stuff. Plus all his cargo interior. And I frankly don't care about the interior because it's up to him to make his truck heavier than GVW or lighter than GVW. It's not up to me. I got it without being converted. So it's important for you guys to pay attention to those things. If you make your truck too heavy and you're in an accident, the insurance company decides to do an audit on your truck, find out that you're overweight, you may end up not getting your insurance claim covered because you've overbuilt it. This is the front bumper there. I love my 4-post. Makes it so easy. So the front bumper is 3 pieces right off the bat, with the winch box being all steel. So this is all steel. The inside's all steel. All the support's all steel. This is all aluminum. Your LED lights adjustable back and forth, up and down. That's loose for just so I could show you what that was about. It fits really nice into the factory slots. I'll tell you, with all, you study this thing from the inside, and with all this sheet metal and modifications and the winch mount, the brackets and everything, you know, I don't know how they sell these things for $3 grand, let alone $5 grand, and make any money. There's a lot of work in that thing, and a lot of good sheet metal engineering. You know, finish is okay. I mean, it's not bad. I like this surface that they put on it. You know, there's a few more little details they could pay attention to. In the old days, the Aluminess stuff was so, every edge was so perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. You couldn't even tell it was welded. And this one here, you can see a little details, but I'm telling you, man, while it's not necessarily my choice of look, it looks great. And it makes the van look really cool. The big tires do too, but I've already had my say on the big tires. You guys, if you want something really cool, you want to build your truck and stuff, I don't do 32s, even though I did it, customer provided them. He runs it, he's going to risk his warranty. We can do it. You know, we can get the trucks done for you and get scheduled. We'll talk to you.